fight forever, maybe. I don't know. What are we doing here? We're back again. There's been some decent changes in the last week or so since we've podcasted. We had SummerSlam came and went, and I didn't actually get a chance to watch it, but I did see a bunch of highlights. From everything I've seen and read, it seems like Logan Paul and The Miz kind of stole the show, which makes me sad because I don't like Logan Paul as a person. But he's gifted. He knows what he's doing.
And I think the best part is that he's invested. I mean, he's clearly working on the craft itself. He's not just there as a celebrity participant. He's better 2 matches in than Ronda Rousey is even now. I hate the guy too. I left Raw when it was in Colombia because Logan Paul came out. I don't like the guy. He's a jackass. I'm 50-50. That match was great. It was incredibly well booked. Everybody involved played their part spectacularly. I don't normally go on record and say that I agree with Cornette on anything, but Logan Paul's skills selling stuff. I mean, there are guys in NXT right now that need to watch that match and just take notes on the way he sold moves. I think if I had to pick a match of the show, it was the opener, the Becky and Bianca. Mostly because you can see the part where Becky's shoulder separates and watch her keep working through it for 20 minutes. It's early in the match. She came down funny. Like you could see where she came down sideways. And from that point on, she's holding that arm. And I don't know how she fought through it. But that match was excellent. They managed to have a match where Bianca was the face, Becky was clearly the heel, and then by the point about 5 minutes after that match ended, Becky had face turned and was the hero again, which is what I outright said I expected. The one thing I saw coming in the Triple H regime was that Becky was, she can't take the mantle from John Cena and turn heel. It was a dumbass idea anyways. So once she heals up, and it's 6 months average. So she's probably back for the Rumble. She'll win the Rumble coming back from injury. But we got some excitement as that match ended. Some sportsmanship. They went real Ring of Honor with it at the end there to get the face turn going.
Code of Honor.
And then the knockoff rock theme music hit and Bayley came out. It's been over a year since the hugger, now the role model, had appeared, and she brought friends. Dakota Kai is back, which was astounding because Dakota Kai was not under contract to WWE. Corey Graves even references it when she comes out. She is not a WWE employee, so everybody here is shocked. And Io Shirai comes out to her original video. Everything says Io Shirai. I can never remember his name. Mike Smith. The main commentator for Raw, the former UFC commentator. I like the guy. He's good, but he referred to her as Io Shirai. I can't believe Io Shirai is here. And then like a switch flipped, and Byron and he kept calling her Io Shirai, and Corey Graves already knew she was Io Sky. Like I don't know how it didn't it didn't register for anybody else sitting at that table, but he was already calling her the name she was going to be the next night on Raw.
I think what happened is the other guys was like, oh, Vince is not here. I'm not going to listen to anything in the headsets at all. And then Corey was like, I'm still going to listen to it, guys. And then like he's actually getting the information that they need to like go forward. He just doesn't have anyone yelling at it anymore.
I mean, in fairness to them, every screen that they could see from where they were sitting said Io Shirai. So, but they came back, decided they were going to climb in the ring and confront Bianca, and Becky, to solidify the hero turn, slid back in, busted shoulder and all, and scared off the would-be attackers. So that, I mean, the entirety from when those entrances started till Becky ran them off at the end, that was the night. And that's not to say that Brock Roman wasn't just batshit insane,
Bonkers.
just lunacy. The type of thing that you didn't think you'd see from Brock Lesnar until a maybe retirement match. Which it's rumored that he only has one more date with WWE, and they don't even know if it's to do a match when he shows up. So I don't know what the game plan is there, but I guess we'll find out when he is in Atlanta for day 1, 2.
Yeah. The crazy thing is with all this, like, there's a lot of goodwill with, like, obviously with WWE right now. We had some more returns this past Friday with Karrion Kross and Scarlett, which I feel bad for the local promotion here, PCW Ultra, that have him prominently on the poster. It's just him and Hammerstone on the poster for the October show. That's not happening anymore. Sorry, guys. But I just, like, what point does the goodwill run out? And I feel like there's a few more obvious pickups for them to, like, or pick back up over people that are not under contract. That the main one being Gargano, and he's, although your prediction from last week didn't come true with him assisting Ciampa at SummerSlam, it Ciampa's had a good time, and they are in Cleveland, I think this week. I think they're in Cleveland
tomorrow night
or next
for Ciampa's United States title opportunity. I'm excited as hell for that match. He's coming off a really good Raw last week where he won 2 different triple threat matches. AJ Styles made him look like just $1 million. He made Mustafa Ali got his first name back, so I can call him his whole. He made Mustafa Ali look friggin' great too. AJ Styles that's his role now, it seems like, and he's embracing it. Apparently, he was part of the team that trained Logan Paul for this match with Miz. I got the impression that it was him and Rollins that worked with Logan Paul on this one, because there were shades of both throughout. But he will he'll have his match against Bobby Lashley on Raw. I anticipate AJ Styles getting involved again, as he did at SummerSlam, which would open a door. So I'm not opposed to it. I think that I think the Miz needs to take a little time away, do as Corey Graves thinks, Marine 12. Because he's apparently done 11 Marine films at this point. Take some time away, let this tiny balls thing disappear, because that is some old regime bullshit right there. I think that's a good way to kind of ease Ciampa away from the Miz, so the Miz can kind of fade out for a little bit.
We were talking a little bit about this with Theory, like. There's obviously there's obvious winners of this whole change. Like Ricochet got a win on Friday. Like obviously Ciampa and Bailey and that whole faction coming together, where apparently something that was pitched to Vince and he did not like the idea. There are definitely also going to be some losers too. Like Austin Theory I don't think is an outright loser. I think he's got too much talent, but at least because of what he was involved in storyline wise, I think he's going to kind of fade away for a little bit. And there's going to be some other ones too, like the Miz and possibly some of the people that have been around for a while that maybe, were around in Triple H's wrestling days too, where, Triple H can be petty too. So, but my big question is what happens when, we're getting close to the fall here. It's about the time they end up going to Saudi Arabia. Like, I feel like that goodwill wears off a little bit around that time because they're still having that's their number 2 moneymaker after their TV rights. So it's gonna be strange. I think it's cool with all the changes that are happening, but I think there's gonna be a little bit of like cognitive dissonance at that point when we get to that point. So it'll just be interesting to see how Triple H and Stephanie handle that when we get to that point.
Yeah,
because I mean, before it was Vince, and it was like, I don't give a fuck. We're making a lot of money, so whatever.
Yeah, the shareholders are happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
they'll never find out about the hush money.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that by the time we get to it's normally first week of November. It's somewhere in between where Hell in a Cell normally is and Survivor Series. I'm hopeful that that's 3 months out. By that point, that they've kind of righted the creative ship enough that you're okay with like, they've got to finish out this 10-year contract they signed with, Saudi Arabia. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
They don't really have a choice. Plus it's, that's the oil money. Let's take it.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that the creative gets to a point where it's a lot easier to just kind of say, all right, they don't really have a choice. And it doesn't feel as dirty to watch those things. Because up until this point, that like it has. When they go to Saudi Arabia, it feels dirty to even turn the damn thing on. I mean, Meltzer could tell me that there was a 10-star match on the card, and I'd still feel like a piece of shit for watching it.
But most of the time, there isn't.
No,
that's also the thing.
It's like, Goldberg trying to kill the Undertaker in front of 80,000 people,
or just having Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement for a terrible match. Or just being like the great wrestlers that are actually there, like it's hot as shit, even like November, and like they're like slipping on the ropes. Like it's just not a good time. I mean, obviously Titus, the one I did watch, Titus sliding under the ring, is still amazing. But things like that. People make mistakes because it's so damn hot there.
I'm actually glad that the phrase coming out of retirement for a terrible match came out of your mouth, because that's a beautiful segue. Let's talk about Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah. I was making notes for this, and I was like, I know there was something else that happened. Oh, man. I wasn't going to pay money for what potentially could have been a snuff film.
You didn't have to. There were enough clips that ended up like Ric Flair posted to the internet that you didn't have to.
Like that one picture of him bloody supposedly waiting for a hot tag, like where he's like passed out, like oh man, it looks so bad.
They didn't have
surprised he lived.
They didn't have the energy left for the figure four to get a submission win, so they both passed out and they counted a pinfall. I gotta say, of the entire shit show that was, Jeff Jarrett is in amazing friggin' shape. And like, if he wanted a quick 6-month run for something, and I don't care what it is, if he wanted to come back and like, I don't know, feud for the Intercontinental belt because he held it like 87 times already, do it. I applaud. Like, I still think that Billy Gunn should get a run at one of the undercard belts in AEW, just to applaud him for being in his 60s and looking like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he of everybody involved in that match, like you could tell Jay Lethal slowed himself down so that Ric Flair didn't look completely terrible. But Jeff Jarrett looked great in the match, just in general. I'd be cool with it. Plus, he's a hell of a promo when they give him a microphone.
Yeah, it's not, and then after all that, I mean, I haven't heard about TMZ has not alerted me that Ric Flair died, so I guess he survived going out afterwards. You cut a promo saying he was going out and drinking.
He's going to hang out with Kid Rock. That's where he got way too drunk and agreed to Ric Flair's last match, part 2, where he's a death match with Nick Gage. Murder, death, kill, motherfucker.
It's the second highest independent show gate of all time, right after All In 2018. So it made something like $450,000 or something like that.
He could have charged $100 million a ticket. All that was in the crowd was former wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, he could say that it made he could put the most arbitrary fucking value on those tickets, because when he says what the gate is, he gave all those tickets away. There may have been like 15 people in that building that weren't comped ass tickets. Like, there's no, there's no way. So, I mean, we were at All Out. There were what,
Yeah,
12,000 people in that building.
something like that.
I mean, his last match felt like a bingo hall that was jam packed with just, I mean, former people that are already in the Hall of Fame. Like, nobody
Yeah.
in there paid for a ticket. Nobody. Maybe Macaulay Culkin. That was.
Well, who was it? I think Black Taurus saved. Was it Bandito? I think.
Yeah,
Like there
Bandito
was
almost died. That was if anybody on that show was going to die, I'm surprised that it was somebody that's normally as clean as Bandito, but he came down.
Yeah.
That would have
Yeah,
been
he got
bad.
caught up in the ropes when he was jumping through them in a dive, and his head was just going straight down, and Black Taurus like caught him at the last second. Like he possibly might have gotten his hands up to like soften it, but it did not.
Yeah, he would have still spiked straight into the top of his head had he not caught him. That was so scary to watch the clip of. All right, what else has been happening in wrestling? It's we disappeared for a while because nothing was going on, and then we came back and nothing was going on, and now just like everything all at once, all the time.
Well, so we got. I think it leaked ahead of where it was supposed to, and not with everything quite ready. But the Fight for the Fallen video game, like some details leaked from THQ Nordic, and there's some stuff that's questionable and leaked. And apparently the cover, which if you see the cover art, depending on your podcast program, you may or may not see the custom cover art thing. But if you go to the site, if you're coming from our site, you see it there. Like I do a little stupid artwork. So this week I had Eddie Kingston's head on the Fight for the Fallen official cover, which I thought was just a bad Photoshop mock-up that someone did, but it's actually the real thing and something from the THQ Nordic marketing department put together, and not anyone from AEW. Like apparently I was reading today from Fightful that the people on the cover were surprised that they were on the cover. They didn't know they were going to be on the cover until like all of a sudden their faces were on it and it was in the leaked thing. But it could be, it looks bonkers because there's a bunch of mini games. There's like clips of Hikaru Shida like hitting a home run in the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium, which doesn't really make any sense at all in any way. There's supposedly some kind of mini game involving Orange Cassidy. What I think it could be is maybe like a more of a No Mercy style gameplay, but it might be kind of bonkers like that WWE Battlegrounds, but just without the repetitive and like, I don't know, buying your way into progress, because the promise of that game did not deliver at all. So I don't know. I'm hoping it works. So
yeah, I mean, as long as it's not as buggy as Cyberpunk was, I think anybody will be happy with it. Getting to a more fun arcade wrestling like No Mercy instead of having to painstakingly learn how to escape submissions in a 2K game. Because I can't handle thumb blisters for the sake of escaping a single figure 4 leg lock. But I mean, it looks wild. I was a little taken aback by the cover art. There's no way Punk is surprised that he's on the cover.
Right.
So if he said he was, he's full of shit. But if he's going to be,
Bucks.
It's not AEW people that are on the cover. Jericho, Punk, and Mox. And then why is Jade Cargill the only female representative on here? She has a mid-card belt.
Oh, there's Baker on there too, but
she's been wrestling for like, I don't know, 6 months, and she's on a video game cover already. Like, come on, man. I mean, no, don't go to the well and just put everybody that used to be in WWE on this cover, but like, there's a lady that holds the women's championship in this company that isn't on the cover of the video game.
Yeah.
So that's a questionable choice, I feel like. Wardlow is not on the cover.
What if they put again, because they just had some random person in the marketing department put this together, but like, what if they had Dan Lambert on the cover? Would you just try? Like, I got to burn all copies of this game.
Yeah,
Even the digital one somehow.
Dan Lambert and Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara would be the cover of my nightmares. So,
Oh man,
but I
I don't
think
know.
that
So
that's what confused me most was that put whoever you want on there, but this company has long since lauded this whole idea of the four pillars. Those four
yeah,
pillars, at the very least, should have been on the cover of their damn video game. Um,
yeah.
I mean that just leave MJF off at this point. Like that's sensible. But your other three guys, they've got to be on there.
I mean, really, if they just did like the AEW graphics team, like they do for any of the up, like the Quake by the Lake thing coming up, like you just have them do it. They can put in a good like 15, 20 people, and they
Yeah.
can still have like someone focus in the center. In this case, being Punk, but like you could have that and still like I don't know. I still think it'd be pretty good to have that. I think you could have a better representation of the full roster,
They'll still get
especially the
my
people that
they'll still get my
play video
money
games.
because I mean, based on the leaked footage, it's still Potato Bod Jericho.
Yeah,
So they're getting my money just so I can do the the moonsault with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But yeah,
but
it's
I think
it's
it's
going to be
interesting.
something.
Besides Omega, they don't have Cole, who like Cole, or I understand why they don't have necessarily have Evil Uno on there. He's not like a big star at all, but like they are the two guys that are constantly like live streaming on their AEW games channel. So, and then now with Claudio too, which Claudio probably won't make. I mean, he won't make the this first game unless it's some kind of DLC later on. But he's
Yeah,
definitely missed any kind of cutoff. But
the Ring of
for
Honor
this first game,
expansion pack.
yeah. Uh, yeah, like the last New Japan or sorry, the Fire Pro Wrestling game, like that launched with just a normal roster and then they added on this whole like New Japan DLC, and by the time it came on the PS4, that was the full package of the game, but when it initially came out for the first couple of years didn't have any of that. So it's interesting. So what else we got? Well, Dynamite this week we had a pretty big deal with the Undisputed Elite, although not medically cleared to, with the exception of Fish, to participate. Now Cole remembers what the Bucks have done to him, and the murder in the PWG parking lot, and being the Elite, and basically kicked the Bucks out. And Hangman Page in his wonderful butterfly jeans came out and rescued the Bucks. I'd watched the Being the Elite from the previous week, and he was given those Dark Order boys a pep talk on how they should enter the trios tournament, and they were like, and you can take on all these people like the Young Bucks and whoever they choose to fight with. And I'm like, this is the part that I don't know. I like anything with Hangman and all this kind of will they won't they like soap opera stuff with this. And so I'm happy to see this, and I'm happy to see some movement, because it kind of seems like whatever, I guess they expected Kenny back earlier or something, but it just seems like, especially with the Undisputed Elite, seems kind of like everything's kind of stagnant, and has been since he came in basically. So we'll see. It'd be good to see, and I think it'd be great if Kenny does come back soon, and we adds another layer. Another good thing for you, we're talking about Dan Lambert earlier. Ethan Page, seemingly he had to cut a promo, and seemingly, I don't know, it kind of seems like he's going on his own, but then he like took Stokely Hathaway's card, so he might be splitting off from Dan Lambert, which I'm happy with. I'm happy for all that to die. So,
But where does Scorpio end up? Why can't we
Scorpio
just have the Men of the Year? Like
I don't know. I think it's because there's too much stink on it now. Like they gotta just do what they gotta do. So
yeah.
um,
No, I mean both those guys are far too talented to be stuck behind Dan Lambert anyway.
yeah, and then Yuta did not win in his trickery to try to beat Jericho for the title shot. But
Well,
that's
no,
basically
no shit. That would mean
yeah.
Jericho put over a younger talent.
Yeah. I mean, if he does put over a younger talent, they're going to have like 15 more matches where then Jericho's going to win most of them after he loses the first one. But then beyond that, we had the Battle of the Belts 3, and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal was pretty good. Um, Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter was good, although Hayter did break her nose in the course of the match. But it seems like she's not really going to miss any time, just how Jericho also broke his nose recently. Uh, and then
She gonna wear Britt Baker's old face mask?
I don't know. That'd be great. And then the match of the night by far, uh, Takeshita versus Claudio. There was a fantastic jumping knee that that Claudio caught and turned into a Death Valley driver, which was pretty amazing. Yeah, that's
Wow.
to me that was like we were talking about like several months ago about how Ricky Starks reversed that lethal injection into the Rochambeau or something like that, and how
Yeah.
like that this is like the closest thing to that for me. Although I think that one still takes the cake. That's like the curb stomp into the RKO, like great reversal, like from a few months ago. So, so yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Like, there's forward momentum to All Out, and I like to see that. It seems like they're kind of the problems the last few months. It seems to be dissipating, although definitely not all gone. But it seems like they're getting a little more focused towards All Out, which is something I like.
I'm gonna look it up
So,
here because now I'm curious. On the main page for AEW, it's a Fight Forever link that has Kenny and Britt. That's a completely different image for the cover. Anyway,
oh, I also like that cover. It almost has like the background that looks like those like disposable cups. Like the color in the background almost looks like that disposable cup pattern from like the 80s. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. What is Takeshita's first name?
I do not know. I don't remember.
Let's see. Or hell, he may not even be on the actual roster, although he's
Well,
had
yeah, because he's not on the roster.
80.
He's like here on an excursion over here eating Cinnabons and like
Oh,
just
well, I
traveling
was I
around.
was just curious to look it up because I feel like every time they do a damn show, he puts on just a banger of a match, but I can't recall that he's ever gotten a win.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they keep putting him in marquee matchups that he can't win, but yeah,
I think this
I was curious to know what his record was because it's got to be like 0-35 at this point.
I think he's going back to Japan. Well, he is going back to Japan. He's got a match in Japan at the end of this next week. So I think he might be done for a little while. But it was a hell of a run, and I think he got a lot of fans out of it while he
Yeah,
was here.
definitely.
So like yeah, in loss after loss after loss, he got more fans. So that's kind of quite an achievement. But the guy just I don't know puts on great matches. So it'd be nice to see him
He's
like against Danielson or some other people too.
Yeah, he's talented. It'd be cool to see him get in there with some of those guys. Maybe he'll go back over, get to work with the ace. Some of that charisma will rub off, and then
Yeah,
suddenly he'll be the champion of every organization.
yeah.
God,
Well,
that guy.
what are you looking forward to coming up
Uh,
in the weeks ahead?
I'm honestly hoping there's no shenanigans in Champa Bobby Lashley because I think the two of them together, as strong as Champa is, I think they
Mm-hmm.
could put on a hell of a match. I've been nothing but impressed with Bobby Lashley when he's been given a chance to work of late, not oil up and flex off. Um, I mean, he did the job for Brock Lesnar in the Elimination Chamber, which irritated the shit out of me, but. he's put on a show every time he's been given a chance, especially since he's split from MVP, who he didn't really need to begin with. So I think the two of them could put on a great match. I think it's just going to continue to help build Ciampa. I'm curious to see what this Karrion Kross thing is. Rumor has it that USA Network wants a belt back on their show.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to ununify those belts. I mean, it was coming anyway. The Usos don't mind working both shows, so I think USA's fine there. But yeah, somehow somebody is going to have to leave Wales with one of Roman's belts.
Right.
Be it Austin Theory, which I'm okay with, Drew McIntyre, which I think USA would probably prefer if Drew McIntyre brought one of those belts back. Without Cody, they kind of need somebody with at least a little pull, and I think he's their guy right now that can still draw a crowd. Or maybe Triple H really just feels that strongly about Karrion Kross. I don't know. Drew McIntyre tweeting, did I just get attacked by the guy that was last seen in bondage and a helmet? Was some nice trolling there.
Yeah.
So any one of those guys is going to leave Clash at the Castle with one of those belts. I guess the WWE Championship will go back to Raw.
He looks better with hair as well. Like I just assumed he was one who's like, oh, I have a thinning hairline, let's just shave it all off. But no, he could grow hair just fine. So
yeah, I don't know why they had him shave it the first time. I mean, he looks, every picture I've seen from him when he was in the Indies, he had hair.
I
definitely so did Claudio. So.
Yeah, I saw him in an AEW show, at least probably in 2019 or something in Chicago, and he definitely was bald for that. So at some point he made some kind of choice, but yeah.
I guess he thought it made him look more menacing.
Yeah.
But to bring Scarlett back in, I hope that they go back to his character. I mean, he did the watch thing. So hopefully they go back to his just awesome ass entrance. Mm-hmm. That entrance alone, I think that was the make or break. The main audience would have gotten well behind him if that badass entrance had taken place. So I think there's potential. I don't know that I would shoehorn him right into a world title. There's more value in putting it on Drew. There's better storyline just already in place for Theory. So you can go any route with it there. So that's exciting. The us getting towards All Out, there's always a bunch of stuff that happens. So that's exciting. Hopefully I can figure out my cable situation and actually get to watch some of their stuff. If anybody wants to share their cable login with me so I can use the TBS and TNT app, I would greatly appreciate it in the interim here. But there's a ton of stuff happening. Ric Flair didn't die, so we get to look forward to a bunch more all caps internet posts.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They're all caps, and if I'm not mistaken, he puts a period after every word.
Why not?
I thought it makes no sense. I feel like talking to him at this point would have to be like if your uncle was just way too drunk at Thanksgiving and just like, I remember 1987. Like that's what talking to Ric Flair has got to be at this point.
I heard about.
He wants you to know that Hogan is a piece of shit, and then he's just going to tell stories.
I heard at some of those like events before the last match, they were just telling stories about like basically all the times they drunk driving and like all this stuff. But they were like telling stories like whatever, like he was like, oh, was very questionable, and people maybe laughed when you were telling those stories before in the 80s. They do not work now. Like it was like very questionable story, because I'm sure he told stories about the whole plane ride from hell that he thought was like hilarious, and then they were put in a different light, and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's not so great.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Not
so
so
much.
Much.
Drunk uncle at Thanksgiving is a apt description of him at this point. So
he's probably the kind of asshole that's like, oh yeah, I fed Brian Pillman all the booze before he got in the car. Yeah. Like that's the kind of things that he would just make light of and not think twice about. So yeah.
We got Quake by the Lake this Wednesday. Another just themed show for some reason with AEW. Where we got Jericho versus Mox. And
are they actually going to be near a lake this time?
I mean,
like
it's
Bash at the Beach was in Cleveland.
well, Target Center. It's where we were there for.
Okay.
Yeah, so
the
guess
land of
a
thousand lakes or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a coffin match with. Oh man! Just a quick shout out. The Acclaimed and the Gun Club dumpster match was. I was very sports entertained. I very much enjoyed that whole thing. And for those that watched, spoiler alert, the Acclaim did win. And also after they rapped about retiring them faster than Vince McMahon or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember the exact line, but they definitely went there. But they pushed them off the stage in the dumpster, and there was no escape hatch or anything like that. They were actually in there, and that thing totally flipped over, and you saw like a boot on one of the things. They are completely fine, but it was just I think they might have been in there, and that's real scary. And you saw a bunch of officials and medical personnel over there by the dumpster, in the corner, and it was that didn't look safe. So but we got a coffin match, and some other FTRs going to be in action, or they're going to be talking. So I don't know. I think we'll see, at least kind of see where they're at going into to All Out. And yeah, sounds like we got some stuff happening. See what Triple H does this week. If Gargano comes back, we'll see.
And at this point, FTR's got to be top ranked, right? So All Out should feature them becoming 82 star FTR.
Yeah. That's if. I'm almost wondering, in a way, if they, with this trios tournament, if they would have ended up if Punk didn't get hurt, if they would have done a trios thing with him. Who knows? But we'll see. We got a lot more trios being added too, so it'll be interesting to see how that all works out. I'm sure we're going to get some brackets or something soon, because we'll have to if they're going to start that. But anyway, well, we'll what should they do in the meantime?
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, milk the cow, share.
Share cable logins.
Share cable logins. Email them. I think we're info@darkmatch.com. I think. I have no idea, honestly. I don't email myself. Like, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Find us on all your favorite platforms. And thanks for listening.
All right.